Okay, so we're in the courtroom, and the teacher, who I had felt like I developed a pretty good relationship with, um, decided that she was going to come in and just try to rip me apart and make me look like a bad mother, which is ridiculous. Anybody that knows me, has ever been around me and my son, can tell you quite the contrary. Um, the only thing I can think of for a reason why she would come in and done that is because she's a single woman. I think she had just turned 40. My husband was a lot closer to her age than mine, and honestly, every time she came into his work, she got to eat and drink for free, and she got to bring her friends and eat and drink for free, and I'm not sure if she had a little crush going on my husband or what, or I know that he liked her because he had a nickname for her. He called her Hot Donna. So, it's whatever. But I was able to just totally disqualify her statements because if that had been true, if I had come to the school like that, she would have had to call the police, first of all. Second of all, she would have been required by law to not release him into my care in that shape. Thirdly, it's just not true. I called the school board and I immediately let them know that these teachers had shown up quite unethically and on their own free will to testify against me with no justification to do so. Uh, and then the statement that Hot Donna gave to the school board was completely different than what she had given under oath. Under oath, she said that she had spoken to me, she had looked me in my eyes, and my eyes were glassy, and that I could barely talk and I could barely walk. In her statement to the school board, she had said that, oh, another parent had witnessed that, and it wasn't until a day later or so that the parent brought this up to the teachers. So they didn't actually witness it, it was another parent. Well, she lied under oath and said that she's the one who tried to talk to me and I couldn't talk and all this. So I was able to discredit her, thank goodness. But still, it was said, it was out there on the table. And it's just human nature, you've heard it, you can't just unhear it. So, anyway, the whole issue of the the date was really why this temporary judgment was made. Because apparently I was wrong about the date that I withdrew my son from school. I was therefore a liar, and my husband was awarded temporary custody. I was only allowed to see him every other weekend and have a phone call. And that was it. See you later, folks. That was it. I still can't wrap my brain around it to this day. Braden's autism was not discussed. The fact that I have a nonverbal child that I'm being allowed a phone call with, the fact that I'm being removed from my son's life when I've been with him for 6.5 years at this point, on a daily basis, is a little bit absurd. Um, so nothing was really taken into consideration because I didn't have representation, period. I know that if I would have had the proper representation from the beginning, none of this would have happened. None of this would have happened. My husband and I would be in a situation where our child is getting what's good for him, what's best for him, and both of us are able to maintain a healthy relationship with him. But because custody was awarded to my husband, I'm now in this situation where he has absolute power. And this is what he has been striving for throughout the duration of our relationship. He absolutely has complete control over me and when I get to see and speak to my son. The only thing he can't control is the every other weekend. That's it. And that's all I get. He does not allow me to see my son on school holidays, on Christmas vacation, on Mother's Day. Nothing. There is not a single extra day. I was able to see Braden for 7 extra days last summer. For 7 days last summer. I was supposed to have him for half of the summer. And I saw him for 7 extra days. And when I did get a lawyer, which was a month after I had him for the 7 days, when I finally got a lawyer, she doesn't do anything about it. I found out in January of 2010, just 2 months ago, that my lawyer had no idea what the final hearing judgment even said. Because every time that my husband would deny me phone calls or deny me any kind of extra vacation time, I would call her and I would be like, what can we do about this? She said, oh, just keep a journal, keep notes. From April of 2009 to January of 2010, every time she tells me to keep notes and keep a journal. Well, in January, my husband decided that he's no longer going to bring my son to me for my visitation. And it states specifically in the court order that he will bring my son and he will pick him up. So I called my lawyer and I said, look, this is not legal, what he's doing. I'm tired of taking notes and keeping a journal. That's not allowing me to see my son over the past year. So I hung up with her and I called the sheriff's station and I said, what happens when he doesn't show up here with my son at 5 o'clock as it's court ordered? They said, you can file contempt charges against him. I said, really? Well, my lawyer doesn't seem to know that, so let me call her back. So I called her back and I said, how come we're not filing contempt charges against him? She said, well, it doesn't really say specifically that he has to bring him and pick him up. I said, yes, it does. And I swear on my life, this woman says to me, oh, it does? Yeah, it does. This entire time, it has said the same thing. Since February of 2009, this sheet of paper has said the same thing. Now, unfortunately, because of her inaction, her incompetence to file a motion up to this point, it just appears to the court that I've been okay with not seeing my little boy, that it's just been all gravy with me, that I completely agree to not having an extra moment with my son, that I just don't care about him. That's how it appears now, because I have, in the beginning, no representation, and now that I've paid thousands of dollars for representation, my representation was crap, and has in fact hurt me. I could do that horribly all by myself and still have the thousands of dollars that I need to get a real lawyer. So, you know, this whole story is long and drawn out, and it's got so many twists and turns, and I can go off in a lot of different directions and tangents on a lot of different things, but the facts are, my son is disabled. I have been his sole caretaker from the beginning. And my husband has just been disconnected and in denial. I don't know how to describe it, and completely unsupportive, withdrawn, negative, abusive, all of these things, and here I am running into brick walls at every turn. Braden just needs some help. I need help.